Hello, so much for somewhat consistent posting, I know. However, free time, I don't know her. Anyway, hey there demons, it's me, your girl. So yeah, October has been a month that came and passed. And because of said, more or less lack of free time, I thought I was slumping and I thought I would only bring you quite a few books. So I was very shocked when I compiled the pile of books that I've read this month because I physically could barely lift them for a thumbnail. So I'm gonna just jump straight into the books. So this just take forever. So I can have another cup of coffee because coffee. Also, the theme for the month was spooky. I wanted all things spooky. I love spookiness. I literally have still not taken down my decorations from last October. So that's where I'm at in life. So based simply on proximity to my person, the first book I read was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This, I got it ages ago in a charity shop and it has been sitting on my sister's shelf because it fit better for 2 years-ish, maybe more or less, give or take. It used to be hecka popular back in my early YouTube days. And like everyone and their mother loves Neil Gaiman. And I did love the other books of his that I read. So yeah, it's basically about this kid called Bod who grows up in a cemetery raised by ghosts and whatnot. Which, fun. I think that having the whole ghost setting is amazing, and I was looking forward to something very atmospheric and eerie and like time jumps and ghosts, and this was that. But also, I don't know if it's because of the hype, it just felt a little flat for me. It was a good book, it was enjoyable. I was very much here for caring about Bod and seeing him grow up and turn into a young man, because he's literally a baby when you first see him. And I did enjoy the writing style, but there were parts that I really loved, like there's a chapter about a witch, so I really love that. But then there's like a portal to a different world type of thing, which just felt so extra. And yeah, there were good parts, there were not that impressive parts, but overall, very fun Halloween-y read. And then, because I love me all things weird and somewhat spooky and whatnot, finally finished the Raven cycle. So I read Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and The Raven King. And I love the series, but I don't really love Maggie as a person, cultural appropriation and whatnot. So don't really want to talk a lot about these. I don't even know. I have a review for the first book in the series. I'm going to link that down below in case you want to see it. Because it's one of those things where you've read it, and you read the whole thing, but you still have no idea whatsoever how on earth you could possibly describe it. I think Blue Lily, Lily Blue is actually my favorite book in the series. And then The Raven King was a good conclusion to the series, I'd say. But at some point, it just had some iffy comments about some POC characters, and I'm just very much not here for that, even though, I don't know if sad, marginalized group would necessarily find them to be super offensive, or if, part of that group wouldn't mind. It's not my place to say. I still felt a little odd reading them, so that's that. And then, my man, my love of my life, my fave, a legend, came out with a new book after 6 years that I have been dying for it. I think that if you go back to my first tag video, it was like a spring tag video, whatever. The first question was like, what's your most anticipated new release? And I'm like, whatever John Green decides to write next. And then every time a tag had a similar question, I'm like, I don't know when it's coming out, but whenever John Green feels like coming out with a new book. Anyway, John Green finally decided to come out with a new book, so Turtles All the Way Down by my man, John Green. I also have a spoiler-free review for this one. I should link that down below, and hopefully in the eye if I remember, but do I ever? That's quite debatable. Anyway, I love John Green. I love this book. It's beautiful. It's basically about these two teenagers that decide to hunt down a missing billionaire to, get that reward, get them dollar bills, make that money, girl. And, well, it's about that. That's not actually the main focus of the story. It very much is a introspective portrayal of the main character's OCD and mental health. And I know I said my theme was spooky, but, name something spookier than thought spirals, Needless to say, I love and adore this book, so if you want to see me gush some more about it. I've been on the hunt for more Irish books, and this one, again, has been sitting on my shelf ever since I think I attended the release party for it back in July. So yeah, I finally read Spellbook of the Lost and Found by Moira Fowley-Doyle. I actually saw Moira live at some events a couple of times, and she's adorable. Also, my friend Rachel has an incredible review on her blog for this. I will link that down below, and she's been at me to read this for the longest time, and I finally have, and I love it so much. It follows these Irish teenagers in a small town where spooky things happen, and after this party, stuff starts to go missing, and then people find a spell book with a spell about finding lost things, about how other things get lost after that. It's just so spooky, and it's incredible. I love the characters. It's quite diverse, it's shockingly so. One of the main characters is deaf. In one year, there are quite a few bisexual characters. There's a POC character. It's phenomenal. I love it. I love the writing style. Moira does this magical realism-y type thing very well, and it's wonderful. There are quite a few loose ends, untied knots, but I don't mind because it just works so well with the theme of the book. I did call the major plot twist, whatever, super early on, but I always do that apparently, and that's not a thing other people do, as confirmed by Rachel. So, it didn't take away any of my enjoyment, so I still love it so much. Another blast from the booktube past. I read The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd. This is a retelling of The Island of Dr. Moreau, and I think what finally made me request this from the library was that I saw it in one of Jean's wrap-ups or something. I will link Jean down below in case you haven't seen her videos before. But yeah, I was very much here for it. I think one of the future books is sort of a retelling of Frankenstein, and that's what got me, because Frankenstein is my fave. And yeah, this is very good. It's set in the 1800s, I would like to say, and it follows this girl who's a very, sort of typical YA protagonist of something set in that era. She's so ahead of her times, interested in obscure things. She's an orphan, or so she thought, and she discovers her father is alive, actually. And I just had to double check that is on the back, and I'm not spoiling you, but it is indeed. So she discovers he's alive and on a secluded island. So she goes there because shit goes down in London where she's been at. And it's incredible. I was hooked start to finish. The writing style wasn't quite my favorite. And there's this unnecessary romantic love triangle, whatever. I was so over it. It's 2017. I can't take such obvious love triangles that have the tendency to take away from the plot. No, thank you. But I did love and adore one of the love interests. The ending just broke me, and I really want to read the second book in the series, but my library only has the first and the third, so I might have to order it. We shall see. But yeah, I would recommend this because I remember seeing it everywhere back in the day, but then I looked on Goodreads and not that many people that I know had read it. And then we have my faves graphic novels. Yet another blast from the past, can you believe? It's Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. This is a compilation of spooky stories, and people were really working up and building up to this spookiness, and don't read this at night because you won't be able to sleep. They're spooky, they're unsettling, but at the same time, y'all are very weak. What the hell? Yeah, so I did enjoy this, but I felt like the stories were so short and just sort of ended right in the middle of things. So I couldn't fully feel for them. And then my fave, Gotham Academy Volume 2. This follows some girls, whatever, some kids, a group of kids at Gotham Academy, and it's so spooky and eerie, and if you like the whole boarding school thing, you're going to love this. I didn't quite love this volume as much because one of the Robins comes to school, and then you see some more Robins later on, and I'm just very much over the Bat-Femme, especially if it's not Batgirl or Batwoman. However, that aside, I love this so much. This is sort of spooky, but not quite. I'm stretching it over here. I read Lumberjanes volume, I don't even know, is it 4? Volume 4. Yeah. If you've seen Gravity Falls, that's pretty much like that in graphic novel form. And it's an all girls camp. And it's amazing. So many weird things happen. And I feel like the more you find out as you read along, the less you actually know. And it's great. I'm here for it. I love the series. It's diverse. It's funky. It's light. And it's entertaining. And I love it. And then the last thing I read was not spooky any way I possibly spin it, but you know what? Treat yourself. I deserve good things. So I read Miss Marvel Volume 4. I had to take that back to the library. I actually had to pay a fine for it because I was late, because life has got me very overwhelmed. But I love Miss Marvel so much. If you don't know, Miss Marvel follows the adventures of Kamala Khan, who's a teenager, until she gets superpowers and becomes Miss Marvel. If I'm not mistaken, this is the volume where she finally meets Carol Danvers, who's Captain Marvel, who's like Kamala's hero, and it's adorable. I am dying. Yeah, if you didn't know, Miss Marvel is literally my favorite. Anyway, so I hope this didn't end up being too long, because I will hate myself while editing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully catch you later with some other video, but honestly, who knows?